world streaming, you have to rely on donations solely. So that's why someone like me is a little bit more crazier with my streams, because I'm fully funded by my audience.
I think if I get sent to prison again, I'm gonna go psycho. And I think at that point, there's no more Johnny, there's no more Ramsey at that point. I feel like I'll go crazy.
That cannot be more wonderful. That cannot be more apt punishment for Johnny Somali if he gets 8 years in a Korean prison.
Guys, after being slammed with his 8th criminal charge, Johnny Somali is now staring down the biggest crisis of his life. Yep, that's right, 8 charges. And now, even more shocking details are leaking out. Reportedly, South Korean officials have watched clips where Johnny ignites outrage by saying things like, "Japan should occupy Korea." That's not just offensive, it's dangerous. At this point, South Korean authorities aren't staying silent. They're determined to make Johnny Somali answer for his actions. And it's not just officials. Social media is exploding. Some people claim Johnny is still threatening others, even while being investigated. Others are convinced deportation is coming soon. There's a storm of updates swirling right now. But the real question is, can Johnny Somali actually mount a defense, or is this truly the end for him? Let's dive into everything. As you already know, based on recent developments, Johnny is now expected to face fresh criminal charges. And legal analysts like Legal Mindset believe the next one could be tied to that disturbing scene on the bus.
Those people were asked specific questions about a bus. So we think it's highly likely it's a bus.
Let's be real. What Johnny did in that incident was beyond disgusting and deeply disturbing for any normal person, especially if minors were around. He completely crossed a line. And remember, he's already in legal hot water over the Lay World situation, where even victims' guardians and parents filed complaints. If this new charge gets pushed forward, there's a strong possibility even more criminal accusations will pile up due to his ongoing misconduct. Now, here's the key question. Does Johnny Somali have any real legal defense left? Because in the last video, we saw him claim he had nothing to do with deepfake content. He said someone else had sent him the videos. And now, he's using that same excuse to try and dodge responsibility in the Lay World case.
Where Lotte World's at, there's an amusement park over here that I did a stream here like a few months ago in September, and my chat was sending me North Korean songs and donations, so the police interrogated me.
So, you've probably heard Johnny Somali saying the police provoked him during that live stream. But let's be honest, if you go back and actually watch the footage, it's obvious what went down. What made the officers intervene in the first place? Was Johnny truly being set up? Or was he once again disturbing the peace and causing public chaos? When you see how the police struggled to control the situation, it raises a major question. Was he really provoked, or was he actively disrupting businesses and society?
I don't know what's happening. Where's exit? Take me out. I want to leave this park. But I pay money. I pay money. But security said I can make a video, YouTube video, okay.
안 된다고 설명.
Now YouTube is not okay? Because I'm... What?
When a clip like this hits the internet, there's no longer any room for debate about whether Johnny Somali crossed a criminal line. I can promise you, if 100 people see that footage, all 100 will agree. He should be held accountable. Sure enough, Johnny tries once again to defend himself. He claims someone else sent him the song, and that he didn't understand the lyrics. He just played it during his stream. But based on how he acted once he realized what the song actually was, there's no defending him. He knew exactly what was going on. There's no room for excuses. Johnny Somali has reached a point of total shamelessness. Honestly, if I ever stood face to face with him, I'd probably just ask, "Why are you so shameless?" But even then, I wouldn't want to be near him, because people who've interacted with him in person say, "You literally can't stand next to Johnny Somali. He smells awful and clearly doesn't care about hygiene." And sadly, that's not even surprising anymore. People who lack basic self-respect and self-awareness are capable of doing much worse. Anyway, back to the main issue. South Korean authorities have now uncovered a clip where Johnny Somali encourages Japan to take over South Korea. that can easily be considered a national threat. And that's a big deal. Now, even media outlets are starting to confirm it. Let's watch the exact moment where Johnny Somali made that statement.
Island. No, I don't know. Japan owns the island. I'm telling y'all, Japan owns that island. And Japan come back and take Korea. This my message to the judge. This my message to the prosecution. If y'all don't let me free, Donald Trump gonna let me free. I'm gonna tell y'all that right now. When Johnny Somali runs for party president.
So, if a judge or prosecutor questions him about that clip, we already know how Johnny Somali might respond. He'll likely say, "It wasn't me. The chat made me do it." That's been his excuse every time, blaming his audience, saying the people in his live stream told him what to say or do, and he just went along with it. According to Johnny, none of these incidents are really his fault. He insists it's always the viewers pushing him to act. And he's even offered a ridiculous explanation. He literally said that unless he pulls these stunts, no one will donate money to him. So basically, in his mind, unless he's harassing strangers, insulting cultures, or acting out, he won't earn a dime. But let's be real, that's not a legal defense. That's a straight-up confession that he knowingly chose fame and profit over basic decency.
IRL streaming, you have to rely on donations solely. So that's why someone like me is a little bit more crazier with my streams, because I'm fully funded by my audience.
When you're a live streamer, you're always trying to, I'm always trying to make my chat go fast. I'm always trying to get the donations flowing.
If you don't have a chat, you don't have an audience. A lot of IRL streamers like me, or just streamers in general, chat is God.
Can you seriously imagine Johnny Somali still trying to spin fake excuses to defend himself? At this stage, nobody is falling for it. And guess what? Korean prosecutors and judges aren't messing around anymore. They're done watching this circus. Right now, they're working on something big, and it's not looking good for Johnny. What's even crazier is that Johnny Somali seems completely unaware of how deep he's in. He might not even realize that another charge has already been added to his case. He'll probably only find out once that court summons shows up at his door, if it hasn't already. Even legal experts like Legal Mindset are worried. They're discussing how much time he could end up serving, and it's not a small number. At this point, it's not about whether he'll get punished. It's about how severe the punishment will be.
Remember, the default was about 2 years? Now it's 4. The aggravated minimum, which I think is very possible, is 8 years and 4.5 months. Think about that, people. A minimum of 8 years and 4.5 months. That cannot be more wonderful. That cannot be more apt punishment for a Johnny Somali if he gets 8 years in a Korean prison. Of course, the maximum has not changed from 12. That's the cap, statutory cap, so they can't go beyond 12. So I do think it is very realistic at this point to say Johnny Somali is looking anywhere between 4 to 12 years, particularly to say 8 years. My guess is now around the minimum, so 8 years and 4.5 months. I think this is my guess in terms of categories. I don't think he's going to get the max. I don't think he's going to get default. I think this is where it'll land. But of course, it is completely reasonable for him to get this as well.
As you just heard from Legal Mindset, Johnny Somali likely won't face more than 12 years in prison based on current Korean sentencing guidelines. Though earlier, some news platforms were throwing around numbers like 46 years or 35 years, Legal Mindset clarified that Korean law doesn't support that. The harshest sentence Johnny might get is 12 years, possibly with aggravating circumstances. And if he gets the lighter or standard sentence, he could serve anywhere between 4 to 8 years behind bars. Now, here's my question. Do you think 4 to 8 years, or even 12 years, is a fair punishment for everything Johnny Somali did in South Korea? Personally, I don't think so. I just can't agree that such a sentence brings full justice. Some might say, even 4 years in jail won't be easy for Johnny Somali. And yeah, that's probably true. But even then, I don't think that fully matches the severity of his actions. What's your take? Do you think I'm wrong? Let me know what you think. And don't forget the disturbing warning Johnny Somali gave before all this. He literally said if he ends up in prison, he might become a psychopath, and that the name Ramsey might not even exist anymore.
I think if I get sent to prison again, I'm gonna go psycho. And I think at that point, there's no more Ramsey at that point. I feel like I'll go.
This is exactly the fear everyone hoped Johnny Somali would feel. If he had ever stopped to consider the consequences before pulling those outrageous stunts, disrespecting strangers, disrupting public spaces, harassing innocent people, maybe he wouldn't be in such serious trouble right now. So now, the question is, has karma finally caught up to him? Because individuals like Johnny Somali, who repeatedly cross the line, act without shame, and never take responsibility, don't deserve leniency. They deserve to face the full weight of consequences, just like anyone else. Do you agree with that viewpoint, or do you see things differently? Let me know what you think. I really want to hear your thoughts.